All right, let's bring in Matthew Driskill now in Singapore via Skype. He is the editor of Asian Aviation. Thanks very much for being with us. So I want to ask you, first of all, about the investigation itself. Now, I appreciate that information is still limited at the moment, but presumably they will be focusing on this decision by the pilot to turn back shortly after takeoff. And then there's also this unknown technical problem from earlier that they said was fixed as well.
Right. I mean, and that's the key thing is what was that technical fix? I would really like to know from the authorities that they say that they can't disclose any more information about it, but it would be interesting to know. That particular model of airplane, the 737 MAX 8, which is a good airplane, and all of these planes are. Boeing's a good manufacturer, Airbus is a good manufacturer, Embraer, Bombardier, all the other manufacturers are good manufacturers. But that particular model, the 737 MAX, back in 2017 was actually grounded because they had some disk problems, the disks that are inside the engine that are spinning around at hundreds and hundreds of RPMs. They had some problems with that, and so they had to ground the airplanes to fix those engines that were made by CFM.
And if we look at safety...
I'm not saying that that's...
Sure,
Go ahead.
Understood. If we look at safety records here, is this more an issue of Lion Air specifically and their what's considered a poor safety record, or this region as a whole?
Well, Indonesia has had problems for many years. I think one of your correspondents may have addressed that earlier when they talked about the European Union had removed Indonesia from the blacklist. Back in 2007, all carriers from Indonesia had been blacklisted by the EU, and I think also had been downgraded by the United States. And that was only changed in June of this year. Garuda had problems as well. So the problems in Indonesia are not exclusively restricted to Lion Air. All the airlines have had problems, and a lot of the air traffic control and the infrastructure, the airports, have had problems in Indonesia as well, simply because there are so many people flying today, and there are so many people that are projected to fly in the future, that the aviation infrastructure, not just in Indonesia, but around Asia, is being stretched thin.
And you say that a lot of this is because of the pressures of needing to transport people and so on. But is this also an issue of pilots perhaps not being given enough training, enough experience, and so on?
That's a big concern, because I've been to a lot of conferences lately here in Singapore and elsewhere, and part of the concern is Boeing came out, for example, with an estimate the other day about manpower issues, and in Southeast Asia specifically, which obviously includes Indonesia, in the next 20 years, this area, this region, is going to need 48,500 new pilots. That's new pilots, and that's completely new. So you've got a lot of experienced captains that are retiring, and there's not enough capacity in the pipeline to replace that experience. So you've got a lot of younger pilots coming in. They're probably not getting paid as much as the older, more experienced pilots, and sometimes that creates problems. That creates, you get some unease in the workforce there. So it is a big problem. I don't know about Lion Air specifically, but I can tell you that you've got a lot of younger people. Well, actually, you've got airlines that are searching for younger people because they can't find the people to replace the ones that are retiring.
Good to get your analysis on this. Matthew Driskill joining us there from Singapore. Thanks very much.
Thank you.